Hi, I'm Keelan,
And I'm Dorisa,
and
and we
we are
are Key
Key Destiny
Destiny Unlimited
Unlimited Abroad.
Abroad. And in our channel, we talk to you not just about moving abroad, but actually staying abroad. And in today's video, we're going to talk to you about what made us decide to move to Thailand. And so, first, what we had to do is once we decided that we were going to be moving abroad, we really had to decide what countries are we going to look at, because there's a lot of countries out there that we could have moved to. So, how did we make our choice? And so,
And we had kind of been talking about moving abroad for quite a while, specifically for retirement purposes. But a few years ago, we had the opportunity to actually live abroad in South Korea. But before that, as we were talking, we were kind of looking at, well, do we want to stay close to the United States? We were looking at countries in Central America like Belize and Panama. And then we kind of look, okay, let's take a look at Europe. And
mhm,
some of the countries we were looking at there
like
were,
Portugal and
yeah, Portugal, Spain, and more recently we were kind of looking at possibility of Malta.
yep, yep. And so, one of the things that we had to do to really help us like narrow down where we wanted to look at was we wanted to look at places that had a long-term visa that we qualify for our family of five. Okay, so that is a very important distinction, because although we could get a retirement visa for ourselves because we're both in our 50s, we were not looking just for a visa for just the two of us. We wanted to be able to qualify for a long term visa that would also include our children. We have three children. They're all in college right now. When we first applied for our visa, all of our children were in an age category where they could be tacked on to our visa. So we really that helped to narrow the list down quite a bit, because retirement visas are relatively easy to come by. But long term visas for a family, especially one that has older teens, young adults, that is a little bit more tricky. So that helped us to narrow our list a little bit. And then the second thing was,
Um, I would just say, as we started looking, we were looking for lifestyle also, as far as what the country had to offer for us. Us being middle class professionals, we wanted to make sure we could kind of continue that lifestyle as we moved abroad and into retirement.
absolutely. So, lifestyle encompasses like kind of the two things, right? The first is affordability. Like, would it be affordable for us? Not cheap. Okay, that's one thing that we really want to qualify, because a lot of people say, "Oh, this specific place is cheap." There really isn't a quote unquote cheap place that exists. So we were looking more for affordability, and affordability that was in line with lifestyle. So we didn't want to um, go to a place where we were going to be at our limit financially. We wanted to make sure that we would be able to afford where we were going to be moving to, um, regardless of what the dollar may do, the U.S. dollar may do in comparison to their currency, and also understanding that inflation happens everywhere. And so those things we really looked at as well. And so for lifestyle, we weren't looking for like a beach life. Like we weren't, we wanted weather that was
Right,
nice.
right. Yeah, we not really beach people. We'll vacation to the beach. We'll stick our feet in the ocean, but really weren't looking for the beach life. But more so a slower pace of life, relaxing atmosphere. We're very interested in uh, exploring
Mhm.
in history, and so those were some of the factors when we're looking at our lifestyle um, choices.
Absolutely, 100%. And we live in a place right now that does get winter. And even when we were in South Korea, they got winter. And so we had figured out
Yeah, we don't want that
we don't want a harsh winter.
as we start to age and stuff. We said, yeah, we want nice weather year round and a place that we can just kind of go out and enjoy.
This past winter, it took about a week to unice our driveway. So we
Yeah,
were like, yeah,
yeah.
we're
That's not
done.
for us.
We're done. So so those were some of the things that we were really thinking about when we were trying to narrow down what country were we going to move to. And so the next thing that we're going to talk about is kind of like a big factor that really led us to our decision to choose Thailand. So one of the biggest factors that helped us to decide on Thailand was a family trip that we took there.
Yeah, in December of 2023, we decided to take a. It was kind of like an impromptu family vacation there. Our kids they wanted to go to a concert there in Thailand, but we were in South Korea, and so we said, well, look, we'll just make a family vacation of it since we've never been there. So we spent about 4 or 5 days in Thailand, and we were actually in Bangkok. But some of the factors that we kind of sold us on, hey, Thailand could be a place that we could retire was when we kind of got away from Bangkok and into the countryside and started exploring some of the ruins and some of the rich history Thailand has.
Absolutely. It was because we had, when we started with this list of places that we would love to retire to, we were like, okay, if we have 5 or 6 places on our list and we hadn't been to several of those countries, we were like, do we want to spend a lot of time, a lot of money traveling to all these other places? Or do we want to, when we find a spot that kind of feels right and feels like that could be our spot, just go ahead and go with that? Because our motto has always been you are not going to have perfect, the timing is not going to be perfect, but it's going to be right. The country is not going to be perfect, but it is going to be right. And so when we were in Thailand, I know while we were there on that visit, I had looked at you and I was like, I can retire here.
Right, yeah.
I was like, this is I could do this.
And one of the things that kind of sold me was every meal we had there was just superb.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was perfection in every way. And so, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk about like 6 things in particular that really told us while we were in Thailand, this is the place to be. So that's how we made like our confirmation, and then we got additional confirmation when we went back for our house hunting visit. So we're going to talk to you about 6 things in particular that really stuck out to us and helped us make the decision on Thailand being the place that we were going to be going and making our pretty much forever home.
Right.
So, specifically, why Thailand? And so, the 6 areas that really helped to solidify why Thailand for us came down to number one is a category we call like visa affordability and being welcoming. And so the biggest reason for us that made it a right fit at the right time was the ability to obtain a 10-year visa for our family of 5. And when you're deciding to move to a place for possibly the rest of your life, but definitely in a long-term situation, we didn't want to have to worry about do we have to renew our visa in 1 year or 2 years or even 5 years. The fact that we had a 10-year visa allowed us to do some things very specifically that would help us to, know that, okay, this makes sense, like buying a house. If we didn't have a long-term visa, buying a house wouldn't have made sense. So those sort of things kind of went into it. What are your thoughts on
Yeah, and for this particular visa being a longer term, our our kids, they were in college, and we definitely wanted them to be included in our visa. So, uh, looking at particular visas that allow them uh, to join our visas, this particular visa, it has a prime sponsor, and then it allows dependents, both children and dependent parents are allowed on this particular visa. So those were some of the options we were looking at, and we did ask our parents if they were interested.
that? Not yet, but we're still working on them. The other thing about it is that we will have the opportunity to renew the visa as long as we continue to meet the criteria. We will have the opportunity to renew the visa. So in 10 years, we will have the option to renew for another 10 years. So that was really big. Affordability was another thing, and because we wanted to have stability, so the ability to afford to be able to buy a house, that was another thing that really appealed to us, and to be legally allowed to do that as foreigners. That's something we'll do a whole video if you all are interested on the buying process, because as a foreigner we can buy the house, but we cannot own the land. That is another video. If you're interested, definitely in the comments let us know. We can talk to you all about our home buying process in Thailand. But those things were really important to us. Number two was Thailand's rich cultural history. It was absolutely important to us, as Keelan said earlier, to be in a place where we could learn and grow and really embrace the history of the area. And Thailand is absolutely filled with cultural heritage. They have a love of their history. You can learn so much, and especially since we're going to be there when we're in our 60s, when we're in our 70s, when we're in our 80s, like it keeps the mind sharp, like being able to learn more and more about it. And they all the different temples and museums and experiences, and the people, it is just filled with something new to learn and to appreciate every single day.
And as we go forward, there may be another video of why we chose a particular place in Thailand. Um, we decided to settle on Chiang Mai, and when we went to Chiang Mai, we were very into the culture of the Lana people in that northern Thailand region, and all the temples, and even some of the ruins in the area. We were just very enthralled with those, and looking forward to learning more.
Yeah, we're going to be able to spend literally decades learning everything that we can about this amazing country. And I'm sure there's still going to be a lot that we don't know, but we are looking forward to spending a lot of time getting completely immersed in it. So that was a big one. And number three kind of feeds into number two, but Thailand has never been colonized. And so that creates such a beautiful piece of authenticity, and it's such a rarity on this planet to have such a strong connection to your cultural history. I know living in the United States, particularly as Black Americans, descendants of American descendants of slaves, uh, we have a very complicated history. And as we go to like the when we go to museums, it's like, okay, let me get ready. We can do this. And it's one of those things where it is going to be nice to be in a place where I walk in a museum and my heart doesn't ache right away. I am very proud of my cultural heritage. I'm proud to be an American. I am proud to be, we are both like everything about our ancestral history brings us pride. It is also a tough story to sit in, and to to be able to look at, look out. We our home is next to a rice field, and, we had the same experience when we lived in South Korea. Our home was, backed up to a rice field, and the first thing that our kids were like, at least it's not cotton, because we had lived very close to cotton fields in the South when we lived in the South. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, it was like to be able to have this very unique experience of people having a connection to their cultural past, their deep cultural past, was something that really we were really enthusiastic about, because it was something that we don't often get a chance to experience, and it's going to be a new experience. America's only 250 years old, and so like Thailand knows its history for hundreds and hundreds of years back. I know we were looked at some ruins. They're like, there's 700 years ago. That's just unfathomable. So just being able to experience the a place that has such a deep, long history was something that really appealed to us.
And another factor into our decision was the healthcare. I know Teresa, she had been talking for years about for her 50th birthday, she's going to go to Thailand for a full body medical exam. It happened to be that we were in Korea and we utilized Korea's healthcare system there um, for our full body medical exams. And so,
So I had the check. I just had it in Korea, but I will be getting my Thai health check as well. So yeah, moving to a place where the healthcare system is top notch. The country is dedicated. It's actually just renewed its commitment to having the some of the best healthcare in the world. And not just for where we are right now. Like, we are pretty healthy. Like in our 50s, we're pretty healthy. Um, but as our medical needs change over time, Thailand will continue to be a place that meets those needs. They have like everything from just things to keep you healthy and active and moving right now, healthy foods, teaching you all about like meditation and fitness and wellness, all the way through being able to have long term care. Now, we've been talking about, some of our parents and things like that. Like, hey, if they needed 24-hour nursing care, like we would be able to get that in Thailand as well. So whatever your needs are, from maintaining your fitness to having more intensive intervention, the Thailand healthcare system can handle that. And so that was something that we were also definitely excited about, and helped to make that decision.
in the project that we're actually building in, they will have their own wellness center that will have a walking track inside, have a sauna. They will even have a nurse on duty.
Yeah, so we even our location for our home has a commitment to wellness, and that really spoke to us deeply. So that's another reason why we chose Thailand. The next was that, Thailand has not only just amazing infrastructure now, but it's continuing to build and develop its infrastructure in ways that make sense. And every different part of Thailand has different types of infrastructure. So, for instance, there's a lot of public transportation in Bangkok, not as, they don't have a rail system, a subway system like that in Chiang Mai, but it still has a very good infrastructure that they take pride and commitment in as they're developing it, and it's continuing to develop. It's continuing to grow. So it's not like, okay, we have these roads, we're done, but they're continuing to grow. So that was really big as well. Like, how is the infrastructure of the place that we're going? We weren't ready to rough it. Like, we're not we're not ready for that. And so Thailand really had modern infrastructure and continues to build and develop with it.
And when we were in Chiang Mai last, uh, the locals had informed us that they're in the process of building a second airport and a new airport there, and also a new rail depot that will connect for high speed rail connecting to Bangkok. So, as Teresa said, they're definitely growing and developing.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that was really big. But honestly, the number six reason, it's one that it's even hard to explain. So what I wrote in our notes is just it just felt right, and that's important too because um, when every time we're there, we're like, okay, we can do this. Even for our kids, they're not going to be there full time. They are, like I said, graduating college, in college, and they will be living their lives, doing their thing. But when we were there, we were like, hey, we're thinking about moving to Thailand. They were like, okay, say less. We're good. we agree. And they even agreed on Chiang Mai, as opposed to like Bangkok or Hue Hin, Pattaya. They're like, yeah, yeah, this feels right. So everything kind of felt right. Even the house that we chose to build, there was a model for a different floor plan, and the twins were there, and they were like, this feels right, And so it's one of those things where it has to, when you are going to make such a extensive life commitment and financial commitment and really go, I'm going to uproot my life, move halfway across the world, and do something that's very new. And I'm going to put a lot of my eggs, maybe not all the eggs. If there's a dozen eggs, maybe not all dozen is in there, but 10 of them eggs is in this basket. Then it has to feel right, and it really did.
And and I think that what also made it feel right was that the Thai people were so welcoming and friendly to us, both in Bangkok and when we were in Chiang Mai.
Absolutely, it was one of those things where it was um it was welcoming, and we, like so many people we talked to, we started, we might have started transactionally, like, oh, okay, this is our driver, or this is somebody who's our real estate agent. But the conversations, went to like, oh, tell me about your family, tell me about you, what do you like. It was like all these opportunities to meet on a human level beyond the transactional level that really made it. It's like, okay, this feels like home. And it wasn't just like only in this we'd be taking a walk through a neighborhood, and you meet somebody, you're just talking, and you're like, okay, we're connecting on a human level. And that was something that was really nice. And it really had a way of making it feel like home. So that was something that was really important to us. We wanted to, if this is going to be our home, it has to feel like home. And definitely, the more we learn, the more we grow, the more we learn the language, the more we um, integrate ourselves, um, as we are allowed into their system, the more it's going to feel like home. So I think that sometimes, when people are looking at the numbers, or like, oh, the numbers work, the timing works, but it also has to work on kind of that, just, it's not all vibes, but it does need to feel right, in the moment. And I think that that's the thing that took us over the edge when we said, yes, we can do this. This is right. Again, we weren't going for this is perfect in every way. It was what was right for us at this time. And so we really hope this helps, just explaining kind of our system and what we were looking at. And for you, it may not be Thailand, it might be someplace completely different, but we wanted to kind of walk you all through the process that we use to make the decision that we did to settle on Thailand, and that it was a long list, and we had to go through it, but we ended up landing in the spot that felt the most right for us. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the comments, let us know, was this helpful? How did, if you decided on a country to retire to or move to, how did you make your decision? What sort of things stood out for you? And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and we will make sure to address them in another video. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.